Hi, I'm Candace Gourdain, and this is yoga for standing tall. Most of what we do in our lives requires the spine to hold us, but also to move us. And not only the movement, but the spine or the spinal column has all of the nerves for sensation and movement and, well, just about everything. It's like the main information superhighway. So I want to welcome you to your yoga practice here, and I want to engage the lower abdominals, but sit down. So we're going to talk about alignment. Let's start here. I have this left shoulder, right shoulder thing going on. So give me a second. If you can see yourself, maybe you have a mirror or a camera, check out your alignment. For me, left shoulder, right shoulder, it's like obvious. There's a little bit of misalignment there. For you, it may be more of a hip misalignment or neck. So from front to back, I want you to practice drawing your chin back. Now we have 4 natural curves in the spine, front to back, not side to side. It's not supposed to move side to side, but it often does. But imagine that it's straight. And then on the back of your back, bring your hands around. I'll turn around so you can see what I'm doing. Bring your hands around, kind of like when you're standing, and so that your fingers are, 2 inches to either side of your spine. Yeah. Push, because I want you to palpate. That means feel. I want you to feel the muscle that runs up and down the back. So as you move outward, there should be a place where it stops being hard and it sort of takes a turn inside. In other words, that muscle goes away and then there's deeper muscle. So it's kind of softer towards the outside and then hard where these long muscles go up and down the back. So just become aware that those are the muscles that hold us mostly erect because we are erect animals. We need the spine to stay straight, not sway off to one side or the other. So these are the ways we move the spine to make it feel better. We can flex the spine forward. We can extend the spine back. We can flex the spine from side to side, and we can rotate or twist the spine around. Then, of course, we can invert the spine. But the most important position for the spine is this one, straight up and down. I'm going to call it the basic position. So level the shoulders. Again, I have to go back. So for me, it's always lift the shoulder a little bit. Draw the chin slightly back so that you're maintaining a length. Engage the lower belly, but sit down. Let the hands relax onto the thighs and then lower the eyelids down. Okay, friends, I want to welcome you to your practice. I want you to relax here now. For today, we're going to breathe down into the earth. And then exhale up from the earth. Inhale down from the top of your head, really. And then exhale up. Remember, the whole goal of our yoga practice is to teach us to stand firm during life's storms. You, I know, are well aware of the things going on around you in our world. Our overall goal is to build strength, but more importantly, flexibility for the daily needs of our spine. Remember, you're breathing down and then exhaling up, or inhaling down, I guess you say. Exhaling up. Pull energy from the lower belly inward and up the spine. On the exhale. What we're doing in these first few moments is guiding our mind to the cellular wisdom that exists in the body so that it can respond to the energetic flow of the breath. I'm going to say that again. What we're doing these first few minutes is guiding the mind to the cellular wisdom of the body's response, of the energetic flow of the breath. Remember, deep within the cellular walls is something we now know is called DNA, but I want to call it cellular wisdom. It's not just stuff, it's not matter, it's knowledge. It's ancient knowledge and modern knowledge together. So we're guiding our mind to that cellular wisdom. So the body can respond. Remember, it tells the body what to do from the energetic flow of the breath. 2 more breaths. This is just awakening a cellular response. And exhale. Let's open the eyes. I want to start it again. Push your hands into the knees and flex. That means round your spine. So this is kind of the normal position that we're normally in, right? We might have a device in our hands. We might be over a desk or a keyboard. We might even be, doing some gardening or cleaning. Now pull, if your hands reach your knees, and pull your chest and belly forward and extend the spine. So that was flex. This is now called extend the spine. So when we compress that muscle, remember we felt that muscle up and back, up and down the back. When we compress that muscle, we actually help squeeze out or juice the hardness, and then come back to what I'm going to call basic. The spine is aligned. So left, right, shoulder, hip, whatever is not aligned, figure that out. Pull the chin back, open up this channel. Now push down one side, and now bring the shoulder towards its hip. Come up, try the other side. This is just flexing to the sides. We're pushing down and opening one side, then the other. Do that again. Push down, but keep pulling in the front. So controlling the spine is important. And that's why we're waking it up, so that we can gain control. You might be stretching the neck too. Don't overdo the neck stretches. Then without moving too far, just twist the spine. So turn the chest over to one side. Maybe you're using your hands to help guide you. And then go the other way. Do that again. Begin to integrate your breath in a rhythmic response to the flow of how you're moving. I'm going to do all of that again. You can stay with me or not. So push down and round flex forward. I'm curling my tail and the crown of my head in together. And then pull and push the belly and the chest forward. Maybe leave the chin a little forward. Don't let it fly up and back. Come back to basic or straight up and down. Left, right, left, right. Crown of the head slightly, ears over shoulders. Then push down one side. Open up that side. And then push down the other side. And then twist, so gentle. What we're doing is reversing the effects of the compression, other side, that we normally get from gravity and age. All right, let's take the strap and come down to the back. Loop it on your foot. So this is called Supta Padangastana. The Sanskrit means lying on your back, supta. Pada, you might not be surprised, means foot, pada or toe, pada. Gustasana, the ha is the hands, your hand to foot, and gusta is like a lot, kind of like gusto, and asana is the seat. So we're always taking a seat again and again. The purpose of Supta Pada Gustasana, hand to foot is what it's called, is to awaken the muscles on the back of the legs so that we can then move. In your body now there are soft places and there are hard places. And it's the goal of yoga to awaken all places evenly. BKS Iyengar, one of my favorite gurus, said, feel light in the body and the mind acquires agility. So right now, as you begin your practice, maybe it's early in the morning to you, maybe your mind feels heavy, maybe your body feels heavy. So we're not just getting the body to move. What we really want is for the mind to acquire agility. So you can change your mind. All right, staying here. Inhale down the spine. So down is always towards the pelvic bowl. Exhale up from the pelvic bowl. Again. Nuance the sensation of the breath. Build strength and flexibility that you need for your daily activities and the movements. Some of the movements are going to come from the body, but we all know the most important movements that we make come from your mind. 2 more breaths. Where are you cleaning out? Saucha is a niyama, is an observance that means clean out, clear out, and then switch to the other leg. Supta, we're lying on our back, supine is the English word, supine. Pada, this foot, gust, really far, really intense. Hasana, hasta, hand, hasta, hasana. Hand to foot, lying hand to foot pose. I can grab my big toe, so I'm going to, because that gives me an additional stretch on the fascia on the bottom of my foot, and I need that. If you do a lot of walking, you probably need that too. You can move the strap a little bit closer to the toes, so that it's pulling a bit on the knuckles of the toes, but you have to be super careful so it doesn't come off. Inhale down the spine. Exhale up the spine. Nuance the breath to feel the sensation in places that are hard and heavy. Like for me right now, the mind still feels heavy. 2 more slow breaths. Through the movements of these yoga poses or asana, we can actually change the length of the spine a fraction of a centimeter. And then we'll release this. With the feet on the floor, maybe sway the knees side to side. Just take a second. Remember the movements of the spine. It flexes forward, it extends back. It can flex to the side or to the other side. It can twist or rotate, which is what we're doing now. And it can be upside down. Do 3 of those nuanced breaths where you're listening to the elegance of nature. Nature is elegant. When you look at trees, we're going to do tree pose today. It's elegant. No 2 trees are even a little bit the same. They're very different. They all sort of reach up towards the sun and have roots. Some of them, the roots aren't even at the bottom. Interesting. All right, make your way all the way up. Typically rolling to the side and coming up. Let's come down onto the belly. So come from hands and knees though. So come from cat, should have told you that, and then come down to the belly. Let's practice for a moment, bringing the legs together. Seems silly. So we're going to do Bhujangasana. Bhujanga is cobra. We're going to do cobra. But practice right now bringing the legs together. So maybe a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Then squeeze the legs together hard. Then squeeze the heels together. Then point the toes. Now push the tops of the toes, that's like the toenails, down into the floor. Squeeze the lower belly. Squeeze the lower back. Now, if you really were to contract that long muscle going up and down the spine, you would extend the spine, but we're not going to do that just yet. Just focus on the tail, right? So cobra is a snake, and so the tail of this pose is hard. So whatever's touching the earth has to hold on to the earth. We can't float or fly, so we depend on the strength and the stability of the earth and the pressure we place on it. So you're squeezing those leg bones together hard. Learn that strength. That's important for any of the flying. In yoga, we do things like we stand on our hands, and some people on their heads, and balance on one foot. But in real life, off the mat, you walk on your feet. It still requires a lot of balance and strength and flexibility. You're squeezing hard. You should be getting tired by now. Those inner thighs, maybe the inner, the calves, whatever you're feeling, and the abs. They're all like rock hard squeezing. So we're practicing Tadasana. 2 breaths, breathe all the way down. Always down is always towards like feet or hips. Exhale up, scooping in, pulling in, enlivening the cellular response so that the body can change, respond to the energetic flow. Push back into child's pose, so let go of those legs, that tail. All right, what we just did, I'm going to call it Cobra Pose, even though we never, flared our hood out. We never did that part of it. Was really important to gain control and strength in the low back. So right now you should be releasing that low back. So we compress muscles to squeeze out the dirty water, the neurochemicals, the byproducts of metabolism, the junk we don't need, the waste products, so that we can bring in fresh, almost like inflaming, almost like that, bring in fresh, new nutrients to create space and plumpness. So many of us complain of back pain, and typically it's because of compression. 2 bones have gotten too close. And they've done that because of gravity has caused poor posture, meaning you've let those muscles relax and the bones collapse. 2 slow breaths. What we're trying to do is change the spine a fraction of a centimeter, which I guess might be a millimeter. Come up into hands and knees. Let's practice again, strengthening that low back. Extend one leg straight back, let it hover behind you. We're going to lift it up a little bit higher than level, and then slowly let it down. So the toe eventually will come all the way to the floor. Try that again. Lift it a little bit above, horizontal, I guess, and then slowly let it down. Now, the most important aspect of this little movement is that the waist muscles, so not just the back muscles running up and down, but the one wrapping around, and it virtually hugs the body, is wrapping around the spine to protect it from the movements of the legs. Our legs are actually very long, even mine, when you compare it to the torso, the length of the spine. So something's got to protect that spine from the movement of this very long, let's call it a tail, this thing that's very long and actually has a lot of muscle on it too. Do 2 more without compressing the neck or the shoulders. So isolate the strength to just kind of the low back down to the foot. Now drag the same knee into your chest and do round the back. Keep lifting this knee up, like you're trying to pull it up into your gut and hold. And then put that down. Let's try the other leg. Extend one leg back and hold. Make the low back hard, level the hips. I notice I just twisted that hip open. Lift the leg a little bit higher and slowly begin to lower it down. eventually the toe. You'll know when you're done because the toe touches the floor. And then you lift it back up and like hoist the mainsail there. And then slowly descend. With control, with attention, breathing into the cellular wisdom. Really good word there. Remember that we are alive. This is the essence of prana. And it's our aliveness that makes everything interesting. But it also makes everything relatively unpredictable. Interesting, unpredictable. You decide how you want to label that. What's most important here is the transversus abdominis, muscle wrapping around the low back so that it doesn't creak and crack under the weight of that leg. One more time. Then drag that same knee into the chest or into the belly, and then lift the belly up into the sky, higher and higher and higher, kind of like your knees going right up in there, learning the pressure, learning to compress, learning to hold the back steady against the weight and the pressures of the world and the chaos of the storms around you. That's how we learn the flexibility. And then come down. Come all the way back down to the belly. Let's try that Bhujangasana again. So start here. Squeeze the legs together. You remember that. Lift the legs a little. Point the toes. Squeeze the front belly. Squeeze the low back belly. Bring the hands a little bit wide and a little bit in front of your shoulders. Press down, rolling the chest open, and then shoot the chest forward. All right, I just said that you can increase the length of your spine by 1 millimeter or 2. Even if it doesn't stay, for the time that we're doing this pose, increase the length of your spine by 1 millimeter. For the time we're doing this pose, the benefits are better blood flow, better neural connection to all the systems of the body. So what are your legs doing? Squeezing together. It's a hard, long tail. Lifting up a little bit, awakening that low back. What are your side waist muscles doing? They're squeezing in and they're pulling up. So we inhale down, through the tail, exhale up and out through the chest. Remember I said shoot your chest forward. This isn't really about your arms. Your arms might be helping. Drag back a little, like you're kind of trying to crawl your way forward. 2 more breaths. Okay, kind of leaning into that cellular wisdom and release down. Push back into child's pose. 3 breaths here. Ujjayi just means victorious. What does that mean? Why are we in a battle? We're about to do that skandasana again from last time. It's against ignorance. It's against not knowing the highest. Make your way up through a downward dog. Hang out in downward dog or step to the side. So I'm going to turn my whole body. And then widen your feet super duper wide. So you didn't have to turn. Maybe you're doing this right where you were. Super duper is a technical term. Really widen your feet. At first, like, as long as you're not on like a wood floor or something, or a linoleum or something like that, vinyl. If you're on a mat or a rug, be a little bit bold, be a little bit fierce here, and take the feet extra wide. I'm really feeling that plantar fascia that I have on that foot, so I'm not gonna go as wide. Now the goal of your back is to be straight, almost always. Not to be hunched, curled, flexed, rounded, trying to do anything with your back. It's straight. It could be straight halfway. It could be straight all the way down. The length of your hamstrings are going to determine that. I'm noticing that I'm tipped a little to one side. So having a camera really makes a difference here, or a mirror, once in a while. Once in a while. Don't rely on it always. Wide-legged forward fold, or I'm going to grab these blocks. I probably should have mentioned that because I'm going to use them like little walking sticks here. I'm going to try bending one knee and dropping the hip down towards that heel. Come up and try the other side. What did I say about the spine? The most important thing about the spine is that it stays straight, aligned. So the same thing we were just doing essentially in Cobra Pose, where we're having to squeeze in and hold the spine, elongating, we're still doing that because the goal of this week or this practice is to stand tall. So the structures that stand us up, that make us erect, long muscles up and down the back, and then these strong leg muscles. Do 2 more side to side. What we're doing this week is reversing the compression. From stooping, from slumping, and from aging. You can't get away from that. Come to center. Give your spine a twist or two, so kind of drop one shoulder, rotate, and then try the other way. Drop one shoulder, rotate. And then walk your feet in closer. Make your way slowly all the way up. So with the knees bent. Roll up, articulating, and initiating that cellular response. All right, all we do is stand in Tadasana. Here we go. Sometimes we say toes together. If that feels natural to you, then toes together. But for me, I have wider hips. I can see that, I can feel that. My toes are about 4 inches apart, but my toes are a little closer together than my heels. Not, we're not going all the way in. They're mostly straightforward though. Now enliven the toes of the feet, and then from the soles of the feet, draw up. Suspenders almost like wrapped over those shoulders. Okay, I gotta work on the shoulders level. Zip up this little triangle of muscles at the abdomen. Stand a little bit taller, so grab the crown of your head and pull it up, up, up. Now slide your head slightly back, so the holes of your ears are right over the tops of your shoulders. The center of your chest is right over the center of your belly. Those 2 hip bones are level with each other. Level with the shoulders, making like 2 parallel lines. And then these long legs are squeezing. Remember that cobra tail? Squeeze the legs in like you have a block between your knees, and push your legs out. Like you got something over there you're trying to push open. So squeeze in, push out, squeeze in, push out. Now do both together. The net effect is pull the muscles up. So we say lift your kneecaps is what we say. Now in a gentle way, drop your tailbone down, a very gentle way. So the front of your belly goes up and the back of your spine goes a little bit down, a gentle, not even a millimeter. Spin that arm so the palms are facing forward. Get back to all that alignment. Remember, ears, shoulders, shoulders level with hips, neck over, belly, belly, aligned over the insteps of both feet. That's mountain, that's just Tadasana. So find elements of Bhujangasana, that cobra stretch, in Tadasana. Now practice shifting left and right. So as I shift, don't purposely lean to one side, lean to one side. We're not doing a dance. You're just practicing the sensation of finding not center, center, not center, center, not center. You're just doing this gentle, almost like a sway. Because more important than strength, believe it or not, is flexibility. Because you can't stand still. The earth is moving, the universe is changing, you can't stand still. Stay on one side and hold. Now do that same whole practice again. Ears over shoulders, shoulders level, neck over belly, pelvis level, but only balancing on one leg. Now this foot's still on the floor, so it's hard to see, but I'm only standing on one foot. So my center of gravity Shift it just 2 millimeters to one side. That's it. Very subtle. That leg you're not standing on, spin it open. Now push the foot into the other, somewhere along that other leg. Now that's it. Even if you have to hold on to something, push. So this foot is pushing. That's what's important here. Squeeze, push, push. So this other leg is pushing back. That's what's important right now. Not staying upright. You need to sit down to do this, sit down to do this. What's important right now is this adduction, that you're adducting, you're adding to something here, you're squeezing. Now from there, squeeze your lower belly in. So the same little exercise we did in Bhujangasana where we were squeezing and teaching these muscles how to connect to each other, we're doing that here. If you're balancing on one foot, good for you, right? You're adding another level, another element. Make sure you're noticing those subtle sways. You need that sway. Nothing is ever just still. The river always flows. If you can, bring your palms together, thumbs to your heart. If you want to, walk your foot up higher, but don't make that an issue. Even if you do, push in. So practice makes effort effortless. Practice. Practice connecting to the cellular wisdom. Your belly knows what to do. Squeeze into it. Keep wrapping around the waist more and more and more. Keep squeezing inner thighs or back of the thigh, I guess. One more breath. And then step down. All right. Paddle right, left. Let one hip move, then the other hip. Circle the shoulders around. Give me a little spiral spin. a little 60s dance here. So someone says, show your age. It's right on my face, my age. Press into Tadasana. Remember, ears over shoulders, shoulders level with hips, center of the neck, head slightly back, over the chest, chest over the belly, and then the center of gravity over the insteps. Lift the kneecaps up, make those legs hard, shift right and left. Now we can lean into one foot or the other. Where are you leaning into? Is it the ball of the foot? Is it the outer edge of the foot? Is it the heel? Work on dissolving that answer into like more of the tissue. Stay on the other side now, hold there. Do that whole exercise again. Head, ears, shoulders, chest, forward to back, hips, side to side, forward to back. Remember, tailbone drop a little, not much. Lifting that kneecap up, then turn this other leg out. Anywhere you are, push the foot into that other leg. Push the other leg into that foot. Remember, it takes two. It takes two to get the pressure. When we compress, when we contract, when we add the strengthening, that's what reverses the compression of time and gravity. We're building flexibility. If you can, palms together. But hold on with these legs. These legs are holding each other. Keep emulating the grace and the stature of nature. So we're a tree, Vruksasana, Vruksasana, Vruk, V-R-K, Vruksasana. Give your tree a nice watering from the ground up and down. Two more up and down. And then come down. From standing, from Tadasana, slowly step out, turn that leg out, and then lean, and then come back. Tadasana, lift the other leg, turn that leg out, step out, and then lean, or I should say bend that leg. Do that a few times. Just practice sort of this funny, slow, lateral, that means to the side, lunge. Just be aware of the structures that are holding you. Be aware of the balance and the flexibility that's required here. So this is what we call mobility, where you can turn, change, shift, and go a full range while maintaining strength and stamina. Inhale, exhale. So even though we're moving, right? Can you imagine if a tree all of a sudden started doing this? Even though we're moving, we're maintaining tree. So this is kind of like a moving tree, I guess. If a tree can get up and walk away. Well, we can. And since we're not connected to the earth, the strength has to be in the belly. That's where the strength is. Do 2 more. Notice I'm not telling you to be super careful with your knee. Be super careful with your knee anyway. It's okay to move a knee, and the knee does flex beyond 90 degrees despite what someone has told you. It can flex. You just have to be careful flexing it. All right. Let's come back to tree pose. So come up, come into tree. When you're ready, grow the branches. If you have your arms up and you're doing the branches part, this is really about the abs being knowledgeable. Remember that cellular wisdom, to transfer the force and the energy and the power that you've absorbed from the earth and these strong legs up into the upper body. Feel this. 2 more breaths. Working the spine. Up and down. And then try again the other side. So I want you to come back into tree. Let's see. Remember all the cues. Remember the legs pushing together. Remember the shoulders level. Remember the head drawn slightly back. Remember that lateral, that side bending and lunging. All of this. You can bring your palms together overhead if that's something you want to do. All we're doing is teaching the body and the mind to stand firm during the storm. So some trees do fall, but some trees don't fall. 2 breaths. Remember, inhale up, the strong, powerful tree, emulating the grace and the stature of nature. And exhale. I'm going to invite you to come down either to like a low squatting position or to a seat on the floor. So we didn't really warm up. You're not in this squatting position. Because what I want you to do is take some part of your arm and push it into your knees. So maybe stay there. Maybe even bring your hands to the floor and push, but it's perfectly fine to sit down and do this. So I don't want you to think that you have to stay like levitating there. I'm going to do something in the middle, right? I'll have this block here. So push, push. All I want you to get from this is that your abs are working hard so that your arms and legs can do something. End of story. Abs are working hard, squeeze them, so the arms and legs can do something. Give me 3 breaths. We're about to move into Shavasana. Nava, boat, kind of like nautical, I guess. And then everyone, let's come down to a seat, your seat, on the bottom. And find your nava, find your balance, your nava. All right, spine always straight. So the lessons from Tadasana, the lessons from Bhujangasana, mountain and cobra, remain with the abs. So in Navasana though, head is nodded gently forward. That's the difference. But the spine, every other part is in a straight line. If you're having trouble holding Navasana, it could be something to do with your seat and how comfortable you are, but most likely it's the strength of your abs. So that's why we just did all of those push, push, you know, and they did that leg lift and squeeze it in. That was all to awaken the abs. It's always the strength of the abs. Try one leg. And then try the other leg. Now lifting your legs up, that's a little bit more involved. Come all the way down. I invite you to come back down to the twist. Where we started, the knees and hips to one side, maybe the arms reaching out or up. All that strengthening, all that wisdom. It's like we unpacked all the wisdom that was in the cells and we added another experience, and we call this practice. Flip your hips, knees other side. We've taught the spine to stand upright, to weather the storm by building about 1 millimeter of length. And when we rest, go through our daily rest cycle, we might lose that millimeter again. That's okay. For the time being, we got that much more nutrition to the leaves and the branches and the bark of our tree. Make your way now into Shavasana, so into the body asana, the body seat. Close your eyes and begin welcoming yourself. Another deep breath in, and slowly exhale. Begin to gently make your way to your side. Inhale, and slowly let it go. Make your way all the way up into a seated pose. And when you come to a seated pose, bring your hands to your heart and bow your chin to your chest. From here, bring your thumbs to your forehead and hold that. Thumbs on your forehead. So imagine your fingers are kind of like an antenna. So from your head to, let's say, the source of the light, you're getting sort of a mind transfusion or nutrition. So anything that was in your mind, anything in your head, anything that was compressed and heavy in your head is now lightened because of this antenna. Take 2 slow, deep breaths. Energy moving through your head, making you feel better. And then lift your head. From here, circle the arms down with the eyes open, stretch up overhead. Exhale, scoop the hands back to the heart, my heart to your heart. I bow to you. Namaste.